Hi guys, welcome back to the Ignite YouTube channel. I'm James, and again, I'm here to talk about me, not the Ignite platform, yours truly. So let's get into it. Um, I was asked a question in the comments section why I'm actually in hospital. What is this all about? Um, Basically, I had had a decade of being very, very unwell, and the healthcare professionals and institutions I was going to couldn't find what was wrong with me. I was suffering infections of every manner, whether they be blood, muscle, tissue. I was in a real bad way, and it was causing my body to break down in some quite dramatic and unique places. Um, Now, there is a whole, um, if I'm being vague, then I apologize, but there is currently a legal situation behind all this. So I'm going to sort of skip out a lot of that stuff and bring you to basically 2024, when it was the beginning of when they finally found out what was wrong and was able to sort of start to put an end to my ill health. So basically, I was admitted to hospital under the pretext of I only needed to be in for 3 or 4 weeks while the spinal cord injuries team at the spinal injuries unit, in which I'm at, wanted to do an investigation. So they did that. They they did some really unique sort of things to try and get to the bottom of this, whether they be operations, scans, and sort of re-scannings and X-rays, and sort of it wasn't necessarily unique. It was a lot. I've never been through such a thorough process before, and basically they got down to the crux of it. And what had happened is I basically had a growth caused by an infection that I'd had previous, like an ulcer, on the outside of my lower bowel, and as a result, my basically every time I had a bowel movement, this growth was collecting like fecal extradate, which is basically moisture from the bowel movement, and basically discharging it into my body, which was causing havoc. It was causing infections, also all manners of things like deterioration of the muscle. Like, it was chaos. It was absolute chaos. And they sort of made several plans of how they were going to potentially take these things, how they was going to basically fix these things. And yeah, basically they had to remove my lower bowel, which they did, or most of it, because of all the sort of damage this growth had done to that particular region of my body. It had caused my skin to break down on my sacrum, through my sacrum all the way to basically um, sort of my stomach and yeah, a lot of places. Not there, but around there. Um, yeah, so basically, the surgery in 2024, once they got to the root and they cut my bowel out, my lower bowel out, put a stoma in, which is here. I don't know if I can maneuver myself here to see it. But it's basically there. It's a stoma is something where you have bowel movements into a bag through they just reroute basically your poop chute out your stomach. And yeah, and so once they did that, they was able to sort of stop all the sort of infections, the breakdowns, the dirt, like all the problems I was having, basically, and needed it all to sort of settle down and see where the and sort of heal because there was a lot of what they call tracking. It's basically when infections get into different roots and they create cavities throughout the body. So since then, I've had a lot of bed rest, a lot of downtime, trying to basically heal these cavities in my body, this tracking. And they've done it. This morning, I was told after, a couple of MRIs that they are all the tracking's gone. Because as a result of this, they've had to leave like my sacral wound open just because of all the sort of there was a lot of tracking sort of leading to that area, which was causing like breakdown, and they thought it was a pressure issue, but it wasn't. It was infected tissue fundamentally that was causing the breakdown of skin. And then so I'm in hospital now. Now they're happy. The stoma is going to be permanent. They're going to first operation is to cut away the scar tissue that has developed over the last year and a bit, um, and then give the wound a good clean. Give it take some photos, give it a proper observation, and then once that's healed from the initial cutting away, then they're going to be able to stitch me back together. And given that there's nothing now sort of infecting the area or breaking any of that tissue down, it will now, oh, excuse me, stay together pretty well. And, it will give me basically my life back after a decade of being in a hospital bed. Yeah, I know this hasn't been the clearest explanation to everything because it goes far deeper than that. But like I said, there's a legal precedent to all this that I need to be careful of, but not too careful because regardless of how it goes, I've got my life back, which is something that is pretty amazing, and I can't articulate that enough to people. Like it's caused some sort of mental health issues, sort of the impact of the last decade, and now there is finally light at the end of the tunnel. But it, like, yeah, the sort of negativity of the last decade can't stop the positivity I feel today. Basically, this is where I'm at, and yeah, I guess I'll leave it there. Like these will get more and more in depth, as I go and as things progress, and I'm trying to keep my sort of daily content daily with the shorts and stuff. So if you come across this, like, subscribe, share, or don't. This is more for me than anybody else. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.